Welcome to video number 8 in the 2024 Haltom City Election Season Series. In this video, we will look at Huba candidate Cindy Sturgeon, ex-sister-in-law of Ron Sturgeon, who Ron says isn't even related to her any longer, even though she birthed his nephew. Sorry about that, Alan. We will discuss the half-truths and what I feel are deceptive tactics Cindy is using on her friends and supporters regarding subjects such as street repairs, property taxes, and even the ridiculous claim that our Haltom City population is shrinking. But what a lot of people might want to know in Haltom City is, did Cindy lie to us about her efforts to bring us a grocery store? You'll have to watch to find out. Again, I'm Jason Steele, and these videos are to help you make an informed decision about your Haltom City Council candidates for the upcoming municipal election. Last week, I attended Cindy Sturgeon's luncheon at the Tea Room. Apparently, someone in her camp called the Tarrant County Sheriff's Department on me because, you know, I'm the boogeyman. Cindy is a smooth talker. She has charisma, she's very likable, and she tells her story, relates to the crowd, draws them in, and then she starts dropping her propaganda. It was an interesting transition to watch, and it's probably usually pretty seamless. That is, unless someone is in the front row like me and starts taking notes, and you know that you're being a little less than truthful, like what happened last week. By the way, Cindy told me I was going to be surprised by the campaign finance reports this time because she was paying for a lot of this campaign herself. Minutes later, her phone rang, and the ID on the phone, Ron Sturgeon. As she paid the check, she was texting, and then almost immediately after she paid the check for her luncheon, I heard this sound on her phone. But I'm sure that those events are purely coincidental. While speaking to her supporters, Cindy made this comment last week. I don't think it's right that higher-ups at the city tell us with an attitude that we can just go shop for groceries outside our city. This was a divisive and completely unnecessary comment meant to take aim at council for something that is completely out of their control, the loss of our Kroger and its lack of a replacement. Yes, Cindy Sturgeon is still pushing the grocery store issue, but not just last week. She mentioned it again Wednesday at her Diamond Oaks Country Club event. Cindy knows for a fact our council can't do anything about replacing that grocery store in South Haltom. She knew that when she made this comment on April 9th, and she knew it when she made it this past Wednesday on April 17th. How can I say that she knows that our council can't do anything about that? Stay with me to find out. Me and her had an issue with her comment, and I told her that these types of statements are why her and I have problems. Her tactics didn't work because the folks at the table at her lunch were informed about the issues with the owner of the Kroger building not keeping the building up. They were also well informed about the lack of a market for a grocery store in South and Central Haltom City. There was a really good discussion around the table about needing a younger population in the area with more disposable income before a chain grocer would consider that area, as well as needing a more suitable building. While her divide and conquer strategy with the grocery store comment didn't get any traction at this meeting, the effort was still made by her, and it was sad to see. However, I feel like Cindy's supporters should know just how much their candidate has withheld from them while still making these kind of divisive comments, even to this day at her events. Comments that are designed to do nothing but cause division amongst us as neighbors. Remember last year when Cindy was bragging about bringing an IGA grocery store to Haltom City, posting store circulars, etc.? Whatever happened to that? Last week's negative comments about, quote, city higher-ups with attitudes was the first grocery store comment I had heard from Cindy since the IGA comments last summer. You need to pay particular attention to the wording in her post when she writes, quote, I've talked to a number of people at different stores and recently got an appointment with IGA to discuss these matters. I met with them last week and they were excited to move forward on the opportunity. For my Haltom people out there, are you aware that IGA is not a grocer? They do not own grocery stores. They are a logistics company or a support service, if you will, for independent grocers. They provide services like marketing, training, branding, but they do not own grocery stores. Cindy never told you that, did she? She let you believe she was trying to bring you an IGA grocery store, posting circulars and whatnot, when in order to make that happen, she would have had to have had an independent grocer who was already looking at Haltom City and who needed IGA support to make it happen. There was no independent grocer looking at Haltom City when Cindy made her announcement, and there never was. This is an email I obtained through open records sent to Cindy Sturgeon from Haltom City Manager Rex Phelps on August 29, 2023. In it is found the following quotes. During the initial conversation, Doug is with IGA, advised us that IGA, Independent Grocers of America, is not a grocery provider. They do, however, assist independent grocery owners and entrepreneurs with site surveys, software training, and other support services. Further down the letter, City Manager Phelps writes, during subsequent conversations, Doug advised me that he does not have any independent grocery providers or potential grocery providers that have expressed an interest in the Haltom City area. Of course, I understand that you, he's talking to Cindy, are aware that there are no current IGA affiliate grocery providers or potential grocery providers evaluating Haltom City as a new location. I just wanted you to know that I double-checked just to make sure that we are not missing a potential opportunity of an interested provider. Listen to two sentences in that letter again. Quote, during the initial conversation, Doug advised us that IGA, Independent Grocers of America, is not a grocery provider. And then further down the letter, quote, I understand that you are aware that there are no current IGA affiliate grocery providers or potential grocery providers evaluating Haltom City, end quote. So Cindy Sturgeon never, and I repeat never, had an actual grocery store interested in Haltom City. And secondly, she was fully aware of that fact. Now let's go back and revisit her quote again about IGA. I'm quoting her post. I've talked to a number of people at different stores and recently got an appointment with IGA to discuss these matters. I met with them last week and they were excited to consider moving forward on the opportunity. Cindy, you cannot be the smart, savvy businesswoman you portray yourself to be, who is going to bring businesses to Haltom City and at the same time be the person ignorant to the fact that IGA is not a grocer, but a support service for independent grocers. You cannot post intentionally misleading things about IGA like, quote, they are excited to consider moving forward on the opportunity, end quote, when you knew for a fact there was no actual grocer ready to move forward on anything. You were merely talking to the company that helps independent grocers, not a company that actually opens grocery stores. Because this letter is full of information that dispels a lot of misinformation spewed by the Sturgeon camp, including Cindy Sturgeon, I'm going to post it in the comments section so that it will be easier for those who want to read it for themselves. This letter also comments on the fact that IGA would not recommend to the city that they pay for a site survey because IGA could not compete in the Haltom City market due to the surrounding supermarkets in the area and the coming H-Mart. Therefore, Cindy knows and knew at the time that she made her comments over the last couple weeks that our city council cannot do anything to attract a supermarket to the area where supermarkets can't compete. That's not my opinion. That's not the city manager's opinion. That's IGA, a grocery support service who does these site surveys, telling our city manager the market's not there. And Cindy knew that. She got this email. Switching gears real quick. Also during last week's luncheon, I watched Cindy mislead her friends regarding the street repairs. For those who were in attendance, do you remember her commenting about the information on the North Richland Hills Street bond repairs? She gave very detailed information on how many streets in North Richland Hills were completed under this bond, how many were in the engineering phase, and how many were currently under construction. But then she didn't give us not one bit of information as to what the status was of the Haltom City road repairs. She couldn't possibly give us that information because she doesn't know that information. She doesn't know that information because she didn't ask anyone at Haltom City for that information. Do you see how that works? You ask for and receive information about how a neighboring city is performing. Then you give no information about Haltom City is performing because you didn't get that information. Then you blame Haltom City for their lack of communication for information you didn't get, but you're the one that stacked the deck against them. This is called lying by omission. it's deceptive, it's dirty, and it shows that you, Cindy Sturgeon, don't celebrate our city. It shows that you pull against our successes by not even gathering the information to see how successful we are or are not. Did Northwich and Hills call you at home and say, hey, Cindy, here's the information on our street repairs? No, of course they didn't. A true leader would have gathered accurate data on both sides to inform our citizens as to how our city is actually performing, not mislead them with half the information. This is just like what Cindy did with the Denise Drive repair project. She took half the information, or maybe not even that much, and then made up the rest of the story and then put out flyers all along Denise Drive to stoke the fires of discontent and have people upset at the city. She could have easily did what I did, call the city and say, hey, what's going on with this street project, and found out what was going on with it. So that's exactly what I did in this case. I've asked the city to compile a report to show what's the status of an updated status of our street repairs. That's all Cindy had to do. Now, if she would have gathered that and we're sucking compared to Northwich and Hills, then she would have had an honest, accurate assessment of, hey, Northwich and Hills has completed these streets and we've only done this many. But she doesn't even do that. Okay. When I get that report, I'll disseminate that out so you can see how we're doing. You can make an honest assessment. But for Cindy to just make up her own stories or not even give you the information, that's not fair to you as citizens. It's not fair to our city staff for her to throw them under the bus with y'all with no information to compare. Basically, she's saying that they suck, but she doesn't have any information to prove that. So when I get that report, you can compare the apples to apples based on the information that Cindy told you at that lunch. I just thought it was really sad that Cindy used this technique to a table with 11 people there. There was only like 11 or 12 of us there, and y'all are her friends and supporters. It was really sad to see. Moving on, Cindy likes to make issue with our property tax rate, insinuating that our council raises it unnecessarily when they shouldn't and that she would do a better job. Never mind that our Haltom City Council has lowered our tax rate by over 13 cents per $100 valuation since 2017, while spending over $71 million on road repairs. Replacing our Fire Station 3 with a brand new state-of-the-art Fire Station 3. Replacing our decrepit, decaying law enforcement center with a brand new state-of-the-art law enforcement center. And finally, building a new city hall that we can all be proud of instead of the decaying, asbestos-filled city hall that we had. All of this infrastructure and these updated facilities in Haltom City, bringing us up to date with our neighbors. Everybody says, oh, why can't we be like Northwich and Hills? And then we do something nice, and then you're, oh, why are we doing that? Anyway, we've done all this stuff, and we lowered the tax rate by 13 cents, and it will likely be lowered again this year. At her event this Wednesday, 4/17 at the Diamond Oaks Country Club, Cindy made issue with our council's 2023 adopted property tax rate by making the following statement. Our council could have chosen the 54 cents per $100 valuation, but they chose the 56 cents per $100 valuation. The 2 cents may not seem like a lot of money, but when people are struggling, it's a lot. First off, for reference, on a $50,000 valuation house with the 10% homestead exemption only, not senior exemption, not $50,000 discount that you get if you're a senior. This is for just the 10% homestead exemption. That would be an additional $3.75 per month. That's just that, okay? So I asked Cindy if she knew how much revenue that additional 2 cents raised. Her reply, $6 or $7 million. Well, first of all, there's a big difference between $6 or $7 million. I would hope that somebody that wanted to be on my council would know, is it 6 million or is it 7 million? Okay. But first of all, it's neither of those. It was $1.2 million is what that raised. Did you know that we needed a new fire truck because our old one, our old engine 471 needed to be replaced? Did you know that we ordered a new fire truck? Did you know that it was estimated to cost around $1 million? Did you know that our FD that we still budgeted for that. Did you know that our FD was actually able to bring that cost in? I believe Chief Jacobs said around savings of around $400,000 by not special ordering it, instead ordering one off of the assembly line. So they saved around $400,000. But the fact being is that we did need additional monies that we didn't expect from the previous years, and we thought it was going to be $1 million because we needed a new fire truck. So Cindy didn't know any of that. And you know why Cindy didn't know any of that? Because she never comes to council meetings. You can look at the council meetings online. You can watch them online. She could have at least done that. She didn't know we needed a fire truck. She didn't know how much the additional 2 cents brought in. She didn't know that we ordered a fire truck. She's got a copy of the budget. One of the other citizens asked her at her meeting, what would you cut from the budget? She didn't know. So my point being in this is, how are you going to be a council person when you don't know how much money we're collecting? You don't know what we're buying. You don't know what you would cut. You just want us to put you on council. You'll figure it out, huh? Anyway, so much for that out of control city spending, huh, Cindy? That 2 cents bought us a new fire truck, and I think our citizens frown on their houses burning down. I think they're okay with that purchase. And again, Cindy, if you want to play council person, at least show up and understand what's going on and why we need that money, instead of just going out and getting the citizens riled up with pitchforks and fire because we're raising taxes when you're seeing the result of those raised taxes right there. But since Cindy wants to make issue with the taxes, these are one of her posts, one of several of her posts, I think it's a fair question to ask. Our taxes are high compared to who? So just as a reference, I pulled out several cities that Cindy's supporter, Ron Sturgeon, has posted in his fake Huba news articles as thriving more than Haltom City. Since they are thriving, what property tax rates are their citizens enjoying from all of this thriving? Let's take a look. The city of Kennedale, who Ron says that we need to be more like and put business owners on our economic development boards, their property tax rate is 0.706190, or it is approximately 14 cents higher per $100 valuation than Haltom City. Kennedale has no attractions that I could find, but they do have junkyards and automotive-related businesses under Ron's mayor. They have no homestead exemption like Haltom City. Currently, they have no senior tax freeze on their property taxes. They don't enjoy a senior tax freeze like our seniors. And if you go back and look at the Kennedale video that I posted, they are definitely not thriving. Okay, so that's one. So if we want to be like one of the thriving cities that Ron talks about, that Cindy's being funded by Ron, or has been funded by Ron, let me correct that because she's paying for it herself this time. Then you're going to pay a 14-cent higher sales property tax rate. Let's look at Fort Worth. Ron is a big Fort Worth fanboy. Fort Worth is so easy to open a business in. Now, their property tax rate is 0.672500, or it's 10.5 cents higher per $100 valuation than Haltom City. Now, Fort Worth has the Stockyards, Texas Motor Speedway, the Alliance area, and as Charlie Roberts so eloquently pointed out, they had the truck yards, and why can't we have something like that? Well, Charlie, Cindy, Ron, if Fort Worth has all these attractions that are supposed to lower the tax burden off of the citizens, why isn't it working? Why are our citizens paying 10.5 cents less than Fort Worth? You know, it's real easy to get up there and say taxes are high, but then when somebody calls out your bullshit and shows that it's not, where's your explanation on that? And then out of at least two of y'all, because Cindy hasn't said we need another oil change place, but you other two have, how is a Jiffy Lube going to help our taxes go down? Let's move on. City of Mansfield. Ron's a big Mansfield fan. They got form-based codes. Form-based codes make everything better. Haltom City, who already, has a lower tax rate. God, we might have negative tax rate if we get form-based codes like Ron wants. But anyway, Mansfield has 0.659. That was facetious, by the way. Do not believe what I just said. That's an idiotic statement made by an idiotic recommendation from Ron that we just turn the keys over to business people. City of Mansfield has a 0.659293 tax rate. Okay, that is 9 cents per $100 valuation higher than Haltom City. Mansfield has a town square, and Mansfield has a Hawaiian Falls, and they have tons of restaurants. And Ron has published several articles about how much better Mansfield is doing. Well, why aren't they thriving? Why are they paying higher taxes? I understand that you have to go outside the city to go eat, but you need to ask yourself this question. And that's your fault, by the way. If you don't like some of our good restaurants that we have, our little mom and pop restaurants, that's your damn fault. If you want to go eat at Applebee's and you don't like these other restaurants, that's your damn fault, because we got good restaurants. So that's on you. Anyway, rant over. Yeah, you can't eat at Applebee's in town. But if you want to eat at Applebee's, sure, we can raise your taxes up a little bit. Make your choice. I'm tired of hearing y'all bitch. City of Arlington, Texas Rangers, Dallas Cowboys, every damn thing else under the sun that's supposed to be bringing your tax rate down, and they're still paying 2 cents per $100 valuation higher property tax rate than us. How does that work? They're supposed to be thriving more than us. Ron says they're so easy to deal with. His co-author of his Keeping the Lights On book, she's an Arlington council person. She can't even make their tax rate better than Haltom City. Do you see how this scam works? It's all a show. All a show. So there you go. We go back to the question. Why is Haltom paying less in property tax rates than these cities? We have a homestead exemption that our citizens get to enjoy. When our seniors turn 65, they get $50,000 off their property tax rate. When they get to 65, they get a senior property tax freeze. Their taxes get frozen. Some of those cities don't get that. So you need to do some, I'm doing the research for you. Hopefully you can at least watch the videos. Quit letting these people lead you by the nose and saying that you've got a bad deal when you don't have a bad deal. So you ask the question, why is Haltom paying less in property taxes? Let me answer a couple of those questions for you. Let's see, like in Kennedale, we're not subsidizing millionaire junkyard owners, okay? Like in Arlington, we're not subsidizing billionaire sports team owners. Like in Fort Worth, we're not subsidizing any millionaire and billionaire that are doing any Fort Worth Panther Island projects, okay? But you need to think about this. We're right in the middle of everything, aren't we? Ripe for the picking. Ripe for the picking, aren't we? And all of a sudden, here comes Ron Sturgeon out of the blue, and he wants the city. Now, he's doing a shitty job of getting people put on council. But all of a sudden, we're ripe for the picking. We got money coming in. We got businesses coming in. Some of y'all need to wake up. You can learn more about tax rates and exemptions here. I'll pause it on here for you. I don't need to pause it. You can pause it. So all of this is fact checkable. Just go look at it. So to end our video, let's close out on the ridiculous. We're in the fastest growing area in the country. Literally the fastest, if not one of the fastest growing areas in the country. So this is what makes this so ridiculous. Remember the video I did on the con game that Ron Sturgeon and Huba, they run on Haltom City? Well, Cindy participates in this activity as well. On February 4th, 2024, Cindy Sturgeon posts this information to her campaign website. It quotes information from the website worldpopulationreview.com. Now, before you go to this site, this should be your first warning. I want to warn you that my antivirus software on my phone said that this was not a safe site, so proceed at your own risk. Cindy's post claims that Haltom City's population is declining, and she claims that it sits at 45,051, dropping from the reported 45,953 from the 2020 census. It must be because Haltom City isn't thriving, right, Cindy? Jesus Christ. Cindy's post followed this post from Ron Sturgeon and Huba dated March 29th, 2024, where Ron claims, quote, Haltom City's slow population growth has turned negative. Same claims, same reasons. Haltom City's council sucks so bad people are fleeing Haltom City, right, Ron? I distinctly remember Cindy stating at her dinner on 4/17, I ain't nobody's puppet. Cindy, if it walks on a string and it talks on a string, you know what it is. What do you call it though, Cindy, if you follow Ron's lead, no matter how ridiculous it is? First off, let's talk about the site that y'all are quoting, worldpopulationreview.com. It's a damn clickbait site. When you scroll down its references, you find two, population.un.org and historical estimates of world population. Hint, the Kroger ad above the references should be a clue to any relatively intelligent individual that this is not any official governmental website. Cindy and Ron. When you click on the references, checking first on the left, population.un.org, check that screenshot, you find that the site has no specific information on Haltom City. Does it surprise anyone that the United Nations does not have any specific information on Haltom City, Texas? Checking historical estimates of world populations on the right, which is an actual research project featured on the U.S. Census website, you find that the last entry for any data was 1950, the year Haltom City was incorporated. Again, the clue that these resources would not have any specific information about Haltom City was in the title with the word world. Another clue that this site was not a reputable source for information would be the ads for the online slot games, sodas, eBays, and erectile dysfunction medication. Notice the warning on the center from my phone's antivirus software. Also a warning sign that you are not on an official government informational website. Here is what the actual census says about our last population survey. Officially, our last census showed that our population was at 46,073, not the 45,953 Cindy and Ron falsely reported. Also, Cindy made reference to Haltom City not growing like other areas on Wednesday, 4/17, and she said, and I quote, depending on which census you look at that event, there is only one census, Cindy. I expect my council people to know that. Our census numbers are also more than likely low. You can request this information if you think I'm full of crap. Our city council and city staff were contacted by census takers who reported low participation by our citizens, which is a shame because our federal funding for our city is based on census numbers. One would hope that someone who wanted to be in control of our city's $137 million budget would not be bamboozled so easily by a clickbait site like this. So you have to ask yourself, are Ron and Cindy Sturgeon just not that smart, or are they intentionally misleading you? But just to drive the facts home about how much Haltom City is growing, let's physically look. This is the High Point subdivision off Haltom Road by Haltom High School. 225 newer single-family homes across the creek. Actually, that's across the street. That's an error on my wording. The stream, an 850-unit luxury apartment complex. So this is about, it started a while back, and then they had to finish this housing division. It's the same person that did both developments. They had to finish the housing first, and now they're going to come back over here and start on the apartments. This is the new Jefferson Fossil Creek Apartments. I believe it finished out last year, if not the year before. 343 apartment units, and this is on Beach Street. The new Parmore Senior Living Apartments, 220 new rent-controlled affordable units for our seniors living on fixed incomes. The Google Earth pic is not up to date. It is open and finished. The Heritage Village Edition between Haltom Road and Denton Highway by our library and the new City Hall, 432 single-family homes. And it is way more developed than this Google Earth picture. They're all the way down here to Denton Highway now. Finally, down south off of Baker Boulevard, this is the upcoming JPI project that is not yet named. It is 386 units. Now, the reason you're not seeing a whole lot of project development right here is, if you notice, they are working on a Fort Worth water project right now. I think that is a big water main that is going through there. So they have to do that before they can work above it. You have 225 single-family homes completed in High Point, 412 single-family homes either completed or being completed in Heritage Village, 563 completed apartment homes in Paramore and Jefferson Fossil Creek. You have 1,236 apartment homes coming, and yet Ron and Cindy Sturgeon want you to believe that Haltom City is shrinking because you're supposed to be both blind and stupid. That's not a little oops, Cindy. That's a complete failure. And if you can't see this growth in our city, I really question your ability to lead. Now, let's not forget, we are well over $1 billion in new growth that is either here or coming for our city. Over the last several years, with exciting projects being announced constantly, such as the $100 million H-Mart development, that's bringing the 50+ retail establishments and restaurants. And this is, if y'all have never been to an H-Mart development, it's got some pretty exciting stuff. Some really good, not just Asian restaurants. I can't tell you the restaurants. Sorry, not just Asian restaurants. I'll leave it at that. But good, exciting restaurants that you will like to eat at. But if you're a foodie like me, some really good, exciting Asian restaurants that you'll like to eat at also. And don't forget, we've got Pickleball Kingdom in development. You said you wanted entertainment. You know, pickleball's the hottest thing going as far as sports entertainment, especially for some of our older adults that still want to remain active. And I'll be damned if we didn't announce that and people are like, well, I don't want to do pickleball. Well, then don't fucking do it. Sorry, I made it this far without an F-bomb and then I just dropped one. Just shut up about it. Don't do it. And then we've got the guy that's trying to develop our truck yard type event, and I really hope that takes off. But you know what? We wouldn't have those developments looking at Haltom City if we weren't being as successful as we are right now. That doesn't just happen, okay? And we're on this track for this type of development because we put ourselves here. Now, why do we want to throw an unknown that doesn't even know how much money our budget is and doesn't know how much 2 cents on sales tax or property tax, how much money that is, that doesn't know that we need it in order to fire a truck, that doesn't know any of these things about our city? Why do we want to throw her in the middle? And why do we want to throw a damn a pothead in the middle of that too, while we're on that subject? Sound like a good idea to throw that into the mix? We're doing great. Let's just throw a couple of unknowns. What could go wrong? And don't forget, our sales tax revenue is up. We're still in the top 100 cities in sales tax revenue production, which helps offset your property taxes. Our property tax rate is trending downward. Like I said, it's supposed to, or I shouldn't say supposed to, it's looking like you will get another property tax rate reduction again this year. And we're still growing, as you see with the developments that are coming. Once you see that H-Mart start really breaking ground, you're going to see that whole area up there really start taking off. And for all the people down south, Jesus Christ, can you look at what you've got that wasn't there before and count your blessings? You've got shops that are filling up in Haltom Plaza, and what do you bitch about? Well, we don't got this. Well, we don't got that. What do you want? You want them to build a Chili's in the middle of South Haltom? The market's not there. You want them to build you a H-E-B in the middle of South Haltom? The market's not there. What do you want them to build? The demographics are not there. They're not there. The money's not there. It's not there. And they keep telling you, yeah, we'll look over at this area. We'll look over at that area. That growth, that regentrification or gentrification is not there in our area. And when it comes there, guess what? They're going to want to buy your houses. They're going to want to put those big apartment complexes next to your area, and your property taxes are going to go up, and then you're going to be bitching about your property taxes going up to where you can't afford it. So there's always going to be something that's going to make people unhappy. Figure out which one you're going to be happy with. How can you put someone in office you can't trust to tell you the truth and expect a good outcome? You can't. If you put Cindy Sturgeon in office, you're not going to have a good outcome. You're not going to have a good outcome because, number one, she's not telling you the truth. She's telling you a half-truth at best. Number two, she hasn't shown up. She hasn't volunteered. She doesn't even show up to meetings. She can't tell you what's in the budget. She can't tell you how much a percentage of the property tax, what it generates. She can't tell you what she would cut. She can't tell you anything. She can tell you some good flowery information about what she would like to see. She can give you pipe dreams, and y'all should really wake up and think about that. If somebody keeps selling you something that may be a little bit too good to be true, you should think about, is it? Do you think they're going to open up a bunch of boutique stores down on 28th Street? Do you think they're going to do that? Would I like to see it? I would absolutely like to see it. And to relay a message to you, if somebody wants to take that chance and go down there and open a boutique on 28th Street, you'll get your rezoning. You'll get your rezoning. If you want to buy that property, not only will you get your rezoning, you'll get some help from the city in a form of assistance grants to help out with the appearance of your building. It'll happen. If you present a bona fide plan for a business that you want to open down there, don't just go down there with a piece of paper and say, I want to do this, but you give a bona fide business plan and you'll get your rezoning. Our city council would love nothing more than to have a different type of business down there. But you can't just wish it into happening. And that's what Cindy gives you, is wishes and dreams. Okay? And it sounds nice, but it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen just from that. All right? It takes real hard work, like putting a TERS down there and reinvesting in the city like they've already done. It takes real hard work, like developing the property that will develop, like what's going on up north that y'all bitch about constantly. That money is real money that's coming into the city coffers. It's not imaginary money like what Charlie talks about when he doesn't see the development on 820 as he walks down to North Richland Hills and says, oh, look at all the development here, and then puts his blinders on and then walks over to the edge to Fort Worth and says, look at all the development here. Inflation's not bothering them over here. Y'all listen to that speech at Cindy's event, and y'all put up with that. And that's sad. So you can't put someone that won't tell you the truth in office and expect a good outcome. And you need to think about this for those of you that haven't gone to her events. If she'll lie to her friends and supporters, she will certainly lie to you as a voter. So it's your choice. Nobody gets everything they want, and that's just a harsh reality of life. Somebody comes in and does something like remodels the building over there on Stanley Keller. Somebody's already bitching about the effects of it. They want this or they want that. Somebody comes in and puts businesses in Haltom Plaza like City Trends, Hibbett's, DD's Furniture. They're already bitching about the business that they want that they don't have. That poor lady put in a Dickey's down there. They didn't want that damn barbecue. They wanted something else. So you people that are sitting here chasing these pipe dreams, you need to support the businesses that you have. Quit listening to these people that are going to tell you that they're going to get you the businesses you want. Because until you support the businesses that you have and you go down there and they show businesses that they can come here and you'll support them, you're not going to get those other businesses. But you'll get pissed. People like Cindy and Ron and Charlie that'll tell you, oh yeah, we can get them for you. We can get you whatever you want. Just sign on the dotted line. Come put that vote in here and tell me. Tell me you want me to go in there and work for you. They want you to let them go in there and work for you, but they won't even put the work in ahead of time. Go ask them legitimate questions about the budget. Go ask Cindy. She don't know. So with that, I'm going to sign off. And I hope y'all think about what you're doing with your votes before you cast them this time.